Hey everybody, it's Zach and I like movies, and the Oscars are a week away. Are you hyped? Well, it's the movie fan Super Bowl, and as much as we love to complain about it, we still watch it, and I do enjoy, honestly, doing Oscar talks because they are kind of fun, even though they do get kind of annoying a lot of the time, more often than they're not. But this year there's a lot of good stuff. I don't, but I do want to start out before I make my predictions and my picks. I sadly haven't seen everything. A lot of these, from where I am in the world, they just aren't easily accessible. Some still haven't come to like streaming services I have, or some of these, especially a lot of the foreign films. They aren't really playing. Most of them aren't playing anywhere near me. I still haven't been able to see the Zone of Interest. I just yesterday found out that Perfect Days was playing near me, and I'm so mad at myself. I wanted to see that so bad, but man, when you try to see every single movie that's out there, it turns into it's a very time consuming, very money and financially consuming passion. And when things are kind of tight financially sometimes, like they are kind of now, there my options are limited. It's an expensive passion. That's not when including when you're collecting all the damn things. But regardless, I have seen a good number of these, and and there are YouTube channels that you can find out. There's like the Oscar experts. There's the Next Best Picture podcast and Be Kind Rewind that you can watch and listen to. That highly recommend all those people. But I'm here to make my picks and my predictions of, let's just do pretty much just the major awards. So let's start with lead actor. We have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Colman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. And honestly, this was kind of considered a sort of two-man lead race between Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti, but we had the SAG Awards not that long ago, and those more I think than the Golden Globes are pretty much the dead center locks for pretty much determine what will win the Oscar, who will win the Oscar, I should say. And Cillian Murphy won that, and I think very well deserved. I think it's a pretty steady lock for Cillian Murphy and Oppenheimer. Very well deserved. I think how Cillian not only played that role, but like carried that performance throughout all of Oppenheimer's like complexities and all of that movie's just various stages. He's very assured. He's very strong. It's like he's a role that carries that is like a very graceful stride, but also like a burdened stride, because you do see a lot in his eyes. He's very hypnotic eyes, especially when it's like in IMAX format, and his face just like basically covers the whole screen, and it's such a great performance. I think. Yeah, I hope to see Cillian in even more leading roles from henceforth. But I wouldn't be surprised if Giamatti, they kind of snuck it in for Giamatti, because that is probably would be like one of the more lifetime achievement Oscars kind of thing. But it's a bit of a shame that some of the other nominees are getting kind of like shunted out, because Jeffrey Wright is really great in American Fiction. And Colman Domingo, as much as that performance and really that movie is an actor showcase, and Colman is definitely playing to the cheap seats. It's like very big and very commanding role through the sheer like volume of his Rustin. And it's very. It is a worthwhile performance, and the movie is worth seeing for him in it. And Bradley Cooper, oh God, I've been so annoyed by him lately. Like the way he like just wants so badly to be taken seriously as like an auteur, and he's been making the rounds of like the method acting perform the actor who definitely wants the Oscar the most, and he's being really loud and annoying about it. And yeah, it brings me comfort that he's just clearly not gonna win. But yeah, go Cillian Murphy. So supporting actor. There is Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction, Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling in Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. Pretty stacked. Like honestly, as much as and like seriously, I really wish Charles Melton was in here for May December, but I also kind of don't know who I would kick out. Like maybe Sterling K. Brown, because he doesn't have much screen time in terms, especially compared to some of these other actors, but he makes a lot out of that limited role, and he is really good in that. Maybe Robert De Niro, you could possibly make the case, but it's a really great performance from Robert De Niro. He's still got the juice, and ooh man, his performance in Killers is evil. He's such an evil man in that. But Mark Ruffalo, wow, man, I didn't know I don't really think he had this kind of performance in him, because he's just so farcical. He's so pompous. He's it's the kind of role that just gives an actor everything. But yeah, in terms of like hype and predictions, there's like the two leading contenders are Gosling and RDJ. And I am glad that Ryan Gosling got nominated, and I do think more comedic performances should get nominated for Oscars. But this is kind of a lock for Robert Downey Jr. I think, especially after like having been in the Marvel machine for 10 years, and he at some point I really think about I think I might have said this before. Around Captain America: Civil War, he kind of just it felt like he kind of just like stopped, performing Tony Stark, and just Tony Stark just was Robert Downey Jr. And you can argue that's been the whole thing. It's more presentation. Like roles like Tony Stark are more of a presentational performance than than anything else. But this was such a great role, and especially he because he really stepped up to the plate, and he really reminded us that no, you're like an actor. I haven't seen this Robert Downey Jr. since like Zodiac, or hell, like this is stuff he was doing back in back when he was like doing Chaplin. And yeah, he is really one of the great actors of his generation, and I think he's a lock. It seems like an easy lock, but I think I'll take it. And lead actress, there is Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Now, even though Lily Gladstone did win the SAG Award for Killers of the Flower Moon, very, very, very deserved, I don't think it's quite as strong a lock as Cillian Murphy's is, because I feel like this might be something of a repeat of Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh from last year, where there is definitely like a case to be made about like Lily Gladstone, like sort of in like the representational politics of Oscars, because she is like one of the first, like I think they said the first Native American actress to be nominated, period. And I would really love it if she won. I think she's my pick to win, but I would not be surprised at all if Emma Stone eventually did get the Oscar, because the Academy does tend to like award much more showier performances. Not all the time, but definitely for lead roles, they do. They definitely like the more showy role. And it's not that like Emma Stone in Poor Things is like just kind of like going through motions or anything. No, it's a very committed performance. It's very it definitely is deserving of its all of its credit and all of the claim it's getting in her physicality, in her dictation, and a lot of like how she processes and doesn't process emotion. But as far as yeah, another one. I feel a little bad for some of the other ones. Sandra Hüller, between this and the Zone of Interest, she's had a pretty strong year, honestly, and I'm very glad that she was nominated for Anatomy of a Fall. She's so good in that. She's so captivating and so like mysterious, and also kind of a bit. She's also kind of unlikable, but unlikable in a way that you understand the more the movie goes on. And Carey Mulligan, I was not a fan at all of Maestro, but I really did like her performance in Maestro. I thought she was one of the better parts about it. And I haven't seen Nyad. I do like Annette Bening. Again, this should have been for either Natalie Portman or why am I blanking on her name? Julianne Moore. Either one of those two ladies for May December. It's not fair. I mean, maybe a case could be made for Margot Robbie, but she's also nominated for as a producer for Barbie, so I'm not too upset that she's not here. But anyway, yeah, I think it's my pick would be Lily Gladstone. So now, actress in a supporting role. There's Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. It's no competition. It's Divine Joy Randolph. She's such a warm presence. She's kind of like the true heart of this movie, and as much as like Giamatti and the other boy are in that movie, she is like kind of the warm fireplace that this movie resides by. She has such like just wonderful presence and beautiful, and felt very authentic and very lived in, very hard. Again, it's the kind of performance that you feel a lot. Like even if she's not just like doing much, like for the first couple of minutes, she's just kind of like, being here, but you love having her here. And when the movie like really shows its cards, and like, man, you just kind of ache with her, and you're happy with her. It's a wonderful performance, absolutely deserving of it. Absolutely has been sweeping every award she's been in, and she's gonna sweep the Oscar too. Yeah, I think in terms of the other ones, like America Ferrera, she was nice, but Oscar, like, I don't think she was that. I don't think she was that good. Like, I'm still upset that Penelope Cruz didn't get nominated for Ferrari. She was so great in that, so captivating in that, and also as well, like I think Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, again, didn't have like as much screen time as like, especially compared to Cillian Murphy, but I think she is a really interesting presence in the movie itself, in the way that like how her role like balances and like fights against Oppenheimer, Oppie himself, and yeah. And again, I haven't seen Nyad, I haven't seen The Color Purple, but I do love Danielle Brooks as an actress, and Jodie Foster too. I'm not surprised that they're here, but also like, I don't know, but like I can't say for sure if they're like, if it feels right, So animated feature film, this one could be interesting. We have The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse feels like the obvious pick. It feels like the one that's like the most assured lock, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I'd be very, very happy if they did pick The Boy and the Heron, because the Academy does love honoring an old head. They do love nominating great masters, and granted some of those are like much later than they should be, but I do think the hype of like Miyazaki coming out of retirement, and would give that a boost, but perhaps because The Boy and the Heron isn't like as straightforward as something like A Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle, and it's much more lyrical. It's less straightforward. It does hurt its chances on that end. So again, that's sort of like a bit more of a dark horse, at least compared to like Across the Spider-Verse, which has had so much hype and with so much just endless fever for. I'm still feeling the fever. It really is that good. And if and whenever we get that third movie, I'm just it's good. We need it now. We need more now. Anyway, but yeah, I do see Across the Spider-Verse winning. Very happy that Nimona got a nomination. Especially that seems like probably one of the biggest comeback stories of the Academy, of what's nominated, and though I didn't super love, I wasn't like in love with it, but I did really like it. I think it has a lot of really fun things to say about like being an outcast, and how it works as like in queer representation, and as a allegory for transness. I think it gives voice to people. I think it gives a voice that is very needed at this time. But yeah, it's one of those, like, maybe in a different year it could have, but also that might have still been a launch shot in a different year. But also very happy Robot Dreams got nominated too, especially because that movie is like mostly silent. It's kind of just mime work, but it is kind of that pure animation it's just the moving pictures. It's just this. It's just what you see, how they move, how it's how the animation just flows and breathes, and I think that's I'm very happy that it got nominated. And Elemental. I don't know why I stumbled on that. Elemental had the biggest comeback of the box office. That was really did not do well when it first released, but made a killing over the seas, especially in Korea. Yeah, but I don't see this winning. Even in the years where like the one Disney pick like takes the gold. Like I don't see it for having not this. Not when you have Across the Spider-Verse, and again, even Boy and the Heron. I'm too hopeful for either of those two. But okay, directing. We have Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. So I haven't seen Zone of Interest yet, but I have seen the other four movies, and yeah, I think it's Chris Nolan's year. I think he's really proven himself to still be a force. He is kind of like the big auteur champion of the year, and I even arguably like of current Hollywood, like of the current landscape of Hollywood filmmaking, and yeah, we still have like the great auteurs of old, with like Martin Scorsese still around and Steven Spielberg, but yeah, Nolan is kind of like in a way he is kind of the people's champion. He is. He's really worked his way up, and the way Oppenheimer was such you couldn't make a movie like Oppenheimer, like a big 3-hour blockbuster drama shot in IMAX and delivered and made with it was an event. It really was the event, and it earned that spot, and I think it is just so So it really, and I think Oppenheimer, like how it's done is really just kind of like Nolan, kind of reaching a creative zenith of his in his like emotional approach to filmmaking, and with the uh, more heady approach that usually is. It's very, a lot of the times people just sort of accuse Nolan of being heartless, but no, not at all. These movies, especially I think since uh, I think since what was it, Interstellar. I think Interstellar on, and he's been like getting more like in touch emotionally, and like the ways that his movies like have peaks, just have such great peaks of his of of feeling, and energy, and so much stuff, and so much like just intensity. And I think Oppenheimer is him doing that at his best. It's kind of the thing. This is kind of the movie that he's been building towards for the last couple of years, and I think he'll take it. I think he'll take it. Sorry, Marty, you are the god, but sometimes it's just not your year. Again, way more bridesmaid than he is a bride, at least in the Oscars are concerned. But very happy that Yorgos Lanthimos is still loved by the Academy, and also very super hyped that Justine Triet got nominated. Yeah, everyone was hoping Greta Gerwig, and yeah, there's a case to be made. I think she definitely earns. I think she definitely earns herself a role. I think she definitely warrants a spot on this. But I would say, at least compared to like some of her other movies, I think she did a better job directing in Little Women than Barbie, personally speaking. But yeah, Justine Triet, Anatomy of a Fall was such a fantastically paced, wonderfully like told, and like and like the way it's unexplored, and the way that like it keeps the ambiguity up throughout the entire time. You never know for sure what the answer is, and that's really the joy of it, is that you just don't know. And I think I do want to see. I do hope to see what more Justine does, but yeah, my pick for that is Nolan. I'm expecting an Oppenheimer sweep, to be honest. What was he? Where was it? It was okay. Let's do the screenplays. So for adapted screenplay, there's Cord Jefferson for American Fiction, Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach for Barbie, Chris Nolan for Oppenheimer, Tony McNamara for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. I kind of feel an Oppenheimer again. I think if you've like not even just read the book, but if you've seen the book and held it in your hand, you understand how dense that Oppenheimer book is, and the way that and Oppenheimer the movie is very coherent, even amidst all of its like cross-cutting and everything. It's it is a very impressive feat of adaptation, I think. Although I would say maybe Poor Things has a good chance, if I had to pick a runner-up favorite. But yeah, it probably would have to go to Oppenheimer. And so for original screenplay, this could be interesting. So we have Justine Triet and Arthur Harari for Anatomy of a Fall, David Hemmingson for The Holdovers, Bradley Cooper and Josh Sainer for Maestro, Sammy Birch and Alex Mechanic for May December, and Celine Song for Past Lives. And as much as I really loved both The Holdovers and Past Lives, like Past Lives was just so that snuck up on me. That's such a great picture. I do think Anatomy of a Fall has it. I think it, not just in like the story it tells, but in how it tells it. I think the way it like keeps the ambiguity up throughout the entire story, and not given any answers, and it's not just a wonderful courtroom drama. It's the way that the that aspects of the relationship are revealed throughout the further it goes on. Essentially, the courtroom is essentially a character study of this relationship, and there's never any real easy answers. There's never any like there's never like any easy outs. I think it was a fantastic screenplay, and that probably has the best chance. Although, again, wouldn't be surprised if either The Holdovers or Past Lives got it. And May December, I love that screenplay. I think some parts felt a little odd, but I think honestly, it's kind of that tonal dissonance, and that little tonal, the juggling act it has with its tone, with the tone and the subject matter, might put off the Academy from giving it awards, which might be like one of the reasons why the movie itself has been shut out for so long. But I'm running out of steam here. But yeah, my pick for original screenplay, it's Anatomy of a Fall. And on to Best Picture. Here we go. Yeah, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. It's going to be Oppenheimer. I think it kind of makes sense. This was the movie of the moment. This and Barbie were like the movies to see. They sort of like set the tone, like really like set the tone of like how we will look at this year. I think at least in terms of like the biggest movies, and which movies that were able to be made in this current environment. And I think I've been saying a lot, and Oppenheimer has been such a force. It's been such a momentous event, and it's maintained that energy throughout the year. I think, I'm just expecting a sweep. I'd be surprised if anything else won. I think, and as good as all of these nominations are, I think the hype is just there for Oppenheimer. I really think this is Chris Nolan's year. And honestly, I would be a little surprised if he didn't win directing, if Oppenheimer didn't win Best Picture. But it's the Oscars. They sure, if nothing else, they sure know how to surprise me. So yeah, that's my picks on all the major awards, and I don't have anything to stream the Oscars with. I'll probably be working that day, knowing my schedule. But yeah, I'll definitely be live tweeting it. Let's hope it's a good night. I don't have high hopes for it'll be a mega blast. You got Kimmel hosting again. God. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. I don't want to ramble too much. Starting to lose my voice, lose my steam. I need to go drink some water, need to stretch, and need to keep watching some movies, because I still got some stuff. I'll probably watch, I don't know, I'll find something to do. So yeah, comment, like, subscribe. What are your picks for the nominations? What do you want to win? What do you think deserves, in your heart of hearts, to win the big gold this year? I'm really itching right now. So yeah, I'm Zach. I'll be watching some movies, and I hope you do too, and I will see you then.